we need to think about the activities we're offering our tourists. So these jet skis, the dune buggies that are going out, the helicopter rides, we need to start looking at all of the things that we're doing and the services we're doing. How can each hotel evolve to become more sustainable? How can all the experiences be more responsible?
Welcome everyone to the second episode of Beyond Travel Long Talk. Today my guest is John Dale Beckley, who is a South African living in the island of Tenerife for about 27 years now?
Yeah, just over 25 years, yeah.
Yeah, a long time. So he's seen this island, changing many times over. He lived through many crises. He himself made many changes in his career, and we're going to talk about this and about Canary Green, which is John's newest baby, let's say, and this is how we actually we met and we started collaborating. So John, thank you very much for accepting my invitation to this interview.
Thanks, Marcel.
It's nice to host you here because you have such a rich history on this island and you've done so many things, professionally and personally on this island. But maybe tell us first, how did you get to the island first? Like, why Tenerife?
My first time I came here was actually, I was coaching cricket in England, and I came here for a holiday. And my brother was here on holiday and we met up and we really liked it. And a few years later, my brother bought a hotel, a small one, in Calabacera called Pearly Grey. Yeah. And then I came over to help him with that. And that's how I originally came here. Yeah.
Right. So your first job or first occupation on this island was working with your brother in the Pearly Grey.
Yeah. For 3 years I was doing that.
3 years.
My first 3 years. Yeah.
Okay. And what years was it?
This is all the way back down to just before 2000 when I finished. Yeah.
Okay. So how was Ireland back then?
Well, it's grown up so much over the last few years. Back in the old days, then we had a lot of construction. They used to build these shells and then leave them for 10 years and then try and sell them. So it looked like Beirut, that it was very unfinished. So a lot of the roads, like now we've got the motorway, in those days we didn't have that. We didn't have the motorway. We had all these buildings that weren't finished. So it was very much rough and ready. Yeah. There was a lot of black money. So everything when you contracted or employed anyone, you would always negotiate what is on the contract and what is black money. Right. And when I bought my first apartment here, we had to pay the black money in the notary, which for me was crazy because it was like, but everyone was doing it. So it was just
it's a weird place, wasn't it? Must have been. Yeah. So you worked with your brother for 3-4 years, but what was your profession, or like, what were your responsibilities? What did you do?
So I helped with the accounts, so managing payments, wages, all of that kind of thing. Not so much I studied marketing and business management. So I just finished studying that, and when I came to work here, so nothing to do with digital or sustainability or anything at that stage.
Okay, and then you never left the island, obviously, and you moved from South Africa here, or okay.
From South Africa.
It's a weird place to choose. South Africa is known to be such a beautiful place, and then.
Well, the first thing I noticed when I came here was when you took the rubbish to the dustbin, you didn't think about who's there. Who's following you? Like in South Africa, South Africans are so accustomed to being aware of the crime, of the danger. Right. Whereas here, there was nothing. We could sleep with our doors open, and there's no issue, there's no problem. So it's very safe. That was the biggest difference I noticed straight away.
Okay. Well, I think it's a big thing to also not to worry about your safety. It is a massive sort of life improvement, you could say. Right, so started working with Pearly Grey, and then after Pearly Grey, what was next?
Well, I read a book by Bill Gates called Business at the Speed of Thought, and he predicted that everything was going to be digital, and everything is going to be. He spoke about wearable devices because we didn't have mobile phones then, and I was blown away because I believed that that's where we were heading with everything, and so I then from that started a company called. Red E Designs and Sorted Sites, it was called, and it was a web design company. And we used to. I bought a designer from South Africa, and he designed in Flash technology. So we would have the aeroplane going across the screen and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Right. So that was after Pearly Grey. We moved to that.
Yeah.
Okay. and that probably didn't keep you long either. I mean, I know you work with digital world now, and that's great, but
well, I've stayed in, my whole career has been in digital, so I've stayed in it the whole way. So we went from design, and then Flash couldn't get indexed in the search engines. So what we did is we started focusing on SEO, which is the rankings in the search engines, and we kind of specialized in that for a number of years, and we were very good at it, mostly in the real estate sector. And then I got into social media, but only because of SEO, on how it helped rankings in the search engines. And social media has kind of taken me, and everything's about social media, because I think it's about a change in the way we communicate. So
one way or another, we all finish with social media. I personally wasn't the social media person, the guy who didn't have Instagram, didn't use Facebook, but you know, with time you just sort of understand, like you said, this is how the world communicates today, and you're missing out big time if you're not using those platforms for that. But how did you get to, what was, how, you know, we have a Canary Green, which is an amazing organization that, which we're going to talk about in a minute, but I know you were really successful in your previous businesses. So what made you change to...
Well, when we were a web design and SEO company, I could see when WordPress came out that people could now design websites for, we were charging 5,000 euros, and now you could suddenly have a website for 39 euros. So we wanted to change. So while we were a web design company, we launched 5 businesses. We launched Tenerife Magazine, Property Base, Casa Quest, all Buy Private Property. We launched all these different businesses that were website projects, and mostly with real estate, and Canary Green. And Canary Green was because I was invited to the opening of the Bioclimatic houses in ITA by the president, because we had Tenerife Magazine, and so I was part of the press corps, and I was blown away, literally blown away with these houses that have been designed with sustainability in mind, and I thought this was the future. And the way President Melcher was speaking is, I thought Tenerife was going to become a leader in all of this. And after we wrote for Tenerife Magazine, we had like a scientist from Canada contacting us, another guy from a university in Denmark or something contacting us, wanting to come and stay in the villas or in these bioclimatic houses. And so I thought, no one's publishing anything in English. Can we not be the voice for what's happening here on the islands in English? And I started this 12 years ago. And then we had the crash of 2008. So we kind of lost... we lost it a lot. All the real estate projects we worked on, we kind of lost. The real estate clients we lost in almost August 2008. I can actually put it down to the month that we...
Was that a point where you took a specific direction that for your next 12 years?
That was very traumatic for me, because I had to get rid of the team. So we had like 10 people working for us. And because we lost everything, I had to pay them all out, because they'd all worked with me for 10 years. So there was a lot of money being paid out. I lost all the money due to me. We had started giving lots of clients credits, because we thought there's no way something like this could happen. We thought these big real estate companies, if we're controlling the website, we would always get our money. So we would let them go months overdue. And then at that point, one of my clients offered me a role. So I then moved to Lanzarote to become the marketing manager for Sands Beach Resort in Lanzarote. And I stayed there for 4 years. And
oh wow, I didn't know you lived in Lanzarote for 4 years.
Yeah. And so I was the marketing manager for the Lanzarote Marathon and a sports hotel, Sands Beach Resort. And what I really enjoyed about this is, before I was always helping businesses with the theory of social media, of content creation, and suddenly I was thrust into having to generate this content myself and figure out what works, what doesn't work, and on all the channels. So we produced 300 videos in 4 years. We published 14,000 high resolution photos. So our videos got over 1 million views. Our Flickr photos alone had 14 million views.
Wow.
So we were really one of the first people to pioneer really aggressive social media marketing for direct bookings.
Nice. And then you said you were blocked, because I actually, when I learned about going back a little bit, how you discovered what is happening on Tenerife, the bioclimatic villages, right? I was blown away by them as well. I saw a video on YouTube, and it was, wow, this is amazing. Unfortunately now, because of COVID, you cannot stay there, because I already wanted to book stay. And then you said something interesting. You thought, oh, I have an image that we are going to lead the world. What do you think happened there? Because clearly Tenerife is not leading the world in that. We would love it to see that.
Well, we were the first bioclimatic village in the world. So we were leading at one stage. But
there's only one now. There isn't any more development of that.
There was no... I think Melchior was quite old when that happened. I think he left office soon after that, and another political party came in. And of course, often with political parties, they take the opposite view of the previous guy. And I don't know the politics, but I presume that's what happened, because we lost... any momentum we had in the beginning, we lost it very quickly, and
right.
And you could see places like Lanzarote now and El Hierro are way more advanced than we are with a lot of things.
Right. Speaking of ITER, there's another pioneering project happening there, which we had a chance to work on.
Yeah.
And that's something you've been following a little bit. Maybe you want to share a little bit of that, because that's super interesting.
Yeah. So what ITER are doing now is they introducing green hydrogen cars to Tenerife and the Canary Islands and the whole Atlantic region. So what they're doing is they've got a 20 million euro project that's funded by different suppliers. Hyundai, Liverpool University, the European Union have put this budget together, and they are producing green hydrogen. So they're taking seawater from the ocean, and they're using wind and solar, and they're converting that into green hydrogen, which they then want to use for all of the rental cars and public transport. So they want to convert all rental cars and public transport over the next few years into green hydrogen cars.
Amazing.
So it is an amazing project. And
I think I read somewhere that is like 50% of CO2 production on this island is public transport. So getting rid of that would be such a big step. And then we were just talking that this project is gonna sort of we're gonna be able to test those cars very soon.
So in March next month, the cars are coming out here with the hydrogen charging plant.
Right.
So that's all coming from the UK, and I hope you're going to be available to come and film it,
sure.
And to get some influences over. So what I see with this project is that they're really concentrated on the mechanics of doing everything and not the marketing. And I look at the marketing, and brand awareness is needed for the hydrogen cars, and that should start now. Even if it's going to roll out in 2 years' time, we have to let the public know that hydrogen cars are coming here. We have to let the renter cars know that this is the future that we're planning.
Because there is so much misconception about the hydrogen cars, how difficult it is to get them, how little you can drive, or how much you can drive on one charge, and all that stuff. So, safety is one of those things that people. So I think it's very important, like you say, to get the campaign out, educate people, and then when it's out, people know what it is and how to use it.
But speaking to Elsa at Seafuel, she was saying to me, this is safer than normal cars without all the petrol. The charging, one of the problems people were thinking about, it takes too long to charge, but they're saying the charging can come down to 5 minutes or less, so that's quick. And also the cost, so it can be 2 minutes at €2 for 100 kilometers.
Yeah, eventually that's the goal.
That's the goal. Yeah. So I mean, obviously they're scared about quoting that in case someone holds them to it. But that's where they're going with all this.
You have to have a vision to you can't say, like, of course at the beginning every technology is going to be clunky, is going to be a bit more expensive, but that's why you're pioneering something new.
Exactly.
It has some.
I think when the guys were driving the horse and carriage and they invented the first car, did they say, oh, it's going to cost us too much to build all the roads and to produce
stations and all that stuff? Of course.
And we did that. And I think we've got the infrastructure, we've got the roads, we've got everything.
Absolutely. Big time. So that's exciting project, guys. Definitely, I will be involved in this hydrogen cars. So watch out this channel for videos specific to that, and also watch out Canary Green channel for more videos about the projects happening on the Canary Islands. I will link the channel below. Tell me a little bit more about how did Canary Green become the main focus of your activities.
Well, it's actually, so when I left Lanzarote, I went through divorce at the same time, and I lost my mom and I lost my brother. So a lot of things happened in my life personally that were traumatic. And I started seeing a life coach, Els. She's a Belgian lady here in Tenerife. And she wasn't dealing so much with the trauma, but because I'm very practical in what I'm doing. And we were just having conversations around where I was 5 years ago, where I am today, and where I see myself in 5 years. And all my clients, when I was doing work, everything was focused towards money and profits. Yeah. And I just wasn't feeling comfortable with all of that. I feel like I was, and of course I was meeting people like you at this stage, and Simon and Andrea and Adam, that are into sustainability, they're into minimalist kind of lifestyle. And Els helped me make a decision to go back to a project I'd started 10 years ago and to pick it up and register it properly as a non-profit and really put all this knowledge that I have about digital marketing behind it and become like a voice for the Canary Islands in English.
Right.
So,
yes. Yeah. That is a beautiful thing that that you have this vision that it's a sustainable voice for the English speaking in Canary Islands, because the majority of tourism is external.
Yeah. Well, we have about 15 on average since 2009. We have on average 15 million people coming here every year. Obviously not counting COVID.
Sure.
But of that, maybe 60, 70, even 80% are English speaking. So I think we're the only registered non-profit in sustainable sector in the whole of the Canary Islands. So if you look at the numbers, it's crazy.
It's crazy. No one else had this idea or does it.
Yeah. So we're trying to really just find our space, and we're all about working together with everyone. So this is not about Canary Green. This is not about us. This is about us promoting other people, other projects. So we're not trying to have everything for us. Like in a business world, you would always think of competitors. In our world, there's no competitors.
It's collaborators.
It's collaborators, yeah.
Absolutely. Great stuff. And prior to COVID, the Canary Green's focus was a slightly bit different than what it is now, because obviously everyone had to pivot in these difficult times.
Yeah, so last year we had vegan meetups where we tried to encourage people to eat less meat. We had beach cleanups. We had coffee, sustainable networking meetings with companies coming together. So we had all these kind of projects, and obviously COVID just stopped all of that. So what we do now is we launched something called Plugging Canarias, which is the option when you walk your dog or you go for a run, you pick up rubbish, you share it with a selfie with Plugging Canarias on the hashtag, and then we gain, where people are doing it by themselves, they're still picking up rubbish and taking part, and also encouraging tourists when they come here to behave like this.
Well, that's what I want to talk about actually as well. Like, what can we do for tourists who come here? Because post-COVID, there is going to be a slightly different tourism, I think. You know, the sector has changed massively, is changing. What can we do to educate the tourists who are coming to be a bit more responsible?
Okay, so at the moment, we're all just running in automation mode at the moment. And we need to think about the activities we're offering our tourists. So these jet skis, the dune buggies that are going out, the helicopter rides, we need to start looking at all of the things that we're doing and the services we're doing. How can each hotel evolve to become more sustainable? How can all the experiences be more responsible? So we're trying to talk about responsible tourism. So our job is to promote individuals and companies that are behaving in a responsible way to tourists that have an interest in this and they want to behave better. But we've got to have companies making an effort. We've got to have the tourism marketing putting pressure on these companies, where they would start choosing companies because of their sustainable activities.
Right.
And I think it should all go back towards community-driven projects. So I think you want to look at a hotel now and say, what are you doing sustainability for yourselves? What are you doing for the community? What are you doing to support local businesses? I think all of these things, tourists are going to start saying, what are you doing for these things?
Yeah.
And being a part of the solution rather than I'm taking my holiday and I don't care.
Yeah, I think also one thing is, because there is sometimes I have an impression that a lot of, there are initiatives, there are things that the companies do, but they do not communicate that clearly to the people. So you come to a place, you're not even aware that, I don't know, they're using, they don't have plastic bottles on the side, or they use reusable water or anything
Yeah.
like that. And I think communication
Yeah.
in that case is a key, and that's where your agency also comes in,
Yeah.
because that's what you help with.
Yeah.
To
And what
other
we're trying to do
businesses.
is talk everything about being in a positive reinforcement. So we don't do anything with negative. Because it's easy to point to Coca-Cola saying, you're producing all this plastic, you the bad player, sign this petition and to take that road. But I don't think you change anyone's hearts or minds that way. So what we want to do is positive reinforcement and generate this positive energy where people are encouraged because they see this person doing it and they say, what can I do? And it pulls everyone together. In South Africa, we saw this with racism, where you started seeing people not being racist and helping and actually giving back. It's part of a cultural change, and
Right.
it's not just led from, because we've got to be careful if we leave this to the town halls and to the tourism departments, because often they talking to their voters. They're not looking at it like this. So I really think,
And tourists have no vote here, unfortunately.
yeah, so they're
that's-
not the market who they're trying to sell to. So local businesses, I think, need to stand up more. I think tourism needs to put more pressure on businesses saying, I want to know what you're doing before I come and stay with you. So I think that needs to be a little bit of push and pull pressure for
Right.
these brands to, because now the brands are saying, listen, the margins are so small now, I can't afford to make these changes because,
But I think, like you say, the consumer is more educated today and more aware. There's more and more people aware of climate change, of the dangers of today's world, and they don't want necessarily the cheapest product for the best price. They want to contribute in a
yeah,
different way to the environment, local community, or anything like
Yeah.
that. So I think there is a lot of, like, on one side you have the businesses that say we cannot afford this. On the other, and they don't see that if they do this, they might bring more business.
Exactly.
And more, even people who want to spend a little bit more
yeah.
money.
opportunity, yeah.
Exactly. So it's just it's a way that they just don't see it yet.
But I'm not sure if you agree. I think that post-COVID, people are going to want to start saying, I want more experiences in my life. Like, life is short now. We've probably all know someone close to us that we've lost through COVID, and you want to come on holiday now and don't say, I want cheap beer and a sunbed. I want to now do a walk in the mountains, in the forest, and go and have local Spanish tapas and feel really good about what I've done today.
Well,
Not
I wish
with a
that's
hang-
going to be the outcome for this island. One of the outcomes, obviously, past this crisis. Still about Canary Green. What's are your nearest projects that you want? I know there are projects that we are working on that better not to expose because they're not defined yet.
Yeah.
But what is the one that you can share?
So, I mean, we want to, ultimately, what we would like to do is to promote individuals and sustainable companies for free. We would like to get funding either from the consumers donating a small amount each month or the EU giving us funding. We would like to do it that way. So we've just been awarded the Google AdWords grant, which they give us $10,000 each month to spend. So this now, we changed from being a very small player to a slightly bigger
significant,
player. Yeah, significant in how we can spend this money. So, for example, promoting digital nomads. We've just done a project now promoting digital nomads because it's a different type of person that's coming here.
Yeah.
It's not your 1 week holiday, it's now 6 months to a year, and they're more sustainably minded. So they will support local businesses. So we've got to educate them. How do you find local businesses that the money's staying here in the local community and supporting them? So we're trying to communicate with that group of people. We've got some bigger projects, like we're planning to go to Lanzarote. They've got some really great sustainable hotels there, so we're trying to work with the tourism and we're planning that. We want to plan to go to El Hierro and do that. We just done our first Green Talks, which is based on a bit like TED Talks. So we want to have very influential speakers coming and speaking on our platform. Right at the beginning stages now, we're talking about having a sustainable tourism summit. Either at the end of this year or the beginning of next year, because as you know, Andrea's run her own successful summit, and she's interested in doing this with us.
Amazing.
And have speakers that are really the top of sustainable tourism coming in one place, and then we're using the pay-per-click budget to really aggressively put the Canary Islands on the market.
Wow! Hopefully, how beautiful would it be if by the end of this year, the situation with COVID would be good enough, calm enough that we could make a in person and online summit. Some people here and then have a little auditorium with a little bit of a screen and speakers from around the world, but also speakers speaking here.
Yeah.
Well, that's a beautiful vision.
Yeah, because human nature is to be with people.
Interaction, absolutely. I think this is one of the biggest. Thank God we have the Skypes, Zooms, and Google Meetups and all that stuff, because how this pandemic would be such a disaster. It is already, but it would be even more if we didn't have those tools.
Yeah, but we could have done this on Zoom.
We could,
and this is nice.
This is so much nicer.
And we had Cristoforo, which is
exactly. I wanted to also say
that,
that, because everyone is watching. It's like, where are these guys? There is a goat in the background. There are bears. There are people. Well, we are in Hacienda Cristoforo, which is a beautiful. I almost call it like a little village.
Oasis. It's like an oasis
exactly.
in the south.
It is. Built here in the south of Tenerife and Playa Paraiso. And again, you can check out the video we together made for this place a couple months ago
on Canary Green
YouTube channel. I've been absolutely blown by this place.
Because the owner, do you remember when he was talking about slow tourism, responsible tourism, and I think that's where Tenerife needs to go. This whole let's put them on a bus and drive them around the island, that's gone. Let's have people that want to.
There is this sentence that Dennis, his name is the founder of this place, who said at the very beginning, I think it's very important to do something that not only makes money but enriches person or something like that. There was the opening sentence in the video that we made, and it's so true. He came here looking at the hotels in Playa de las Americas being built, and he thought, okay, this is tourism, but I want to create something completely different, and he created this place. So that's why you hear ghosts, because it's a very down-to-earth place, very peaceful and very calm.
I think just to say, I've got a client called Pearly Grey, and one of the things which we've done is we've spoken to Finca La Calabacera, and because Pearly Grey has self-catering units, we're inviting the guests before they come that they can order these vegetable boxes from a Bioclimatic, organic farm, and they can have it delivered to the rooms. And
wow, that's good.
And that's amazing. Hey, just set up. I mean, obviously, during COVID we can't launch this, but that's all there ready to go. And I think it's this whole concept afterwards that people want to be healthier, they want to eat healthier. They want to do. Yesterday we did an e-bike excursion where we do then kayaking, and we can have Spanish tapas afterwards. Those are the kind of experience that I think people are going to crave.
They really enrich you. These experiences. I mean, when I went to Lanzarote, and we did, me and Eliana, we did I think 4 days. So we've done a lot of on our own. I went alone climbing a volcano. I love volcanoes, so it was beautiful. We also had to do a bus tour to the Timanfaya Park, because that's the only way you can access it. And I never do bus tours, but I really wanted to see it. I love volcanoes. So sitting in this bus and going around, I was thinking, my God, and people actually do that every time. There are people who choose that sort of tourism every time. They just sit on the bus and listen from the speakers to a guy, and it just, it's nice. It looks beautiful, but it doesn't give you any experience. It doesn't enrich your soul.
You know, my sister came to Lanzarote 10 years ago, and even to this day, when she remembers Lanzarote, she remembers the wine tour. Because we went on a 4x4 Jeep with this guide that was amazing, took us to 4 different wineries. We tasted really nice wines and a Moscatel that was a world champion recently. And she remembers that. From the whole of Lanzarote, she remembers that day and that experience. And I think that's how the hotels have to market themselves, and that's how the destination has to market itself.
So much more personalized. What does the person want? Not what we have, like ticking the boxes. Oh, I've been here. Now, what is it that you want to do? Right? That's the goal.
Yeah.
John, what's the best place on the island for you?
Well, this is a surprise question.
I know. I was thinking, let's change the gear a little bit here.
My soul place is Lanzarote. I just love it. I mean, I was there. I just feel as soon as you land there, my whole mindset just kind of relaxes a bit more. The people are more friendly, I feel. Everything's a bit slower. It's more like a surfer community there. And what I loved about Lanzarote is that everyone is into sports. The beaches there are amazing. So I've really got a good memory of Lanzarote. I think El Medano is the closest we've got,
Right.
because that's kind of the
Surfers vibe.
kind of relaxed.
You know that apart, this is you know, it's I've been here 4 years now, and the only island I've seen apart Tenerife is Lanzarote, and I fell in love with this place. It's just such a easygoing, such a quiet place that I wouldn't like to live there. I must say, it's too quiet. But to escape there for a
that's
week,
what I thought when I first went there.
yeah,
But actually, once you get your community and your friends, and I'm into sports, so I play a lot of paddle and golf. So once you get organized, it's
Right.
really I enjoy learning.
right, okay, yeah.
But what I really like about Lanzarote is they had Cesar Manrique,
Yes.
who passed away quite a few years ago. But he was the visionary for sustainable tourism, like not mass tourism. You can't build anywhere. You can't build more than 2 stories high. So he was fantastic for the island. But what tourism have just recently done is they've gone back to this model of putting sustainable tourism front and center of their strategy, which I think is great. And that's why we want to go there, because everything is focusing towards this point, which I think is such a smart move. Yeah.
Cesar Manrique was such a unique. I only discovered him when I went there, and was again blown away by this connection of man-made and nature-made, structures. How he combined this, it's amazing. Actually, here on the island, you can see the Lago Martianes was designed by him in Puerto de la Cruz.
Yeah.
I don't know if anything else on the island here, but it has an influence all over those islands.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, he was fantastic. Yeah.
So yeah, Lanzarote is on our list of places to go. Another surprise question. We're just gonna slowly wrap up here. What do you miss from South Africa being here?
I think the sense of humor with my friends.
Yeah.
Like often I'm telling jokes and my daughter says, "Dad, stop telling these jokes, nobody gets them." But South Africans get them, and I miss that. And also rugby. Like here I go and watch rugby and I'm the only one in the bar watching, and
Right. Okay.
and no one's into it. Whereas in South Africa it's like religion. So you
do you travel still back home sometimes?
I did, but when my mom passed away I haven't been back since then. And she was the kind of magnet pulling me back all the time. But I've still got all my family there in Cape Town and Durban. So we're just planning now to go back.
Okay.
To go back and
Can
see
you
them
travel
again.
now? Or
Not now, no. But we're planning it for later in the
when it
year. Yeah.
opens. Cool. Well, John, thanks a lot for the conversation.
Thanks,
Again, guys, thanks for tuning in today, and I'm gonna link John's social media profiles, Instagram, YouTube, to his how do you say, to his projects, because he's a man of many projects. I'm going to link them down below, but maybe you say it best. Where should people find you, and how can they connect with you? What's the best way?
Well, if you search John Dale Beckley, all my social media come up straight there, and you can then feel free to reach out with me. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank you for helping us with our films at Canary Green.
Pleasure.
And we're going to do some stuff together in the future, I'm sure.
Yeah. Definitely. This we've started collaborate. Well, we've met 2 years ago now, I think, or something like that, and it took us about a year almost to start putting things together.
Yeah.
And in fact, this was thanks to COVID. If it wasn't for COVID, I would be traveling, doing the trade shows, the fairs. You might be doing something else. So. If for us, if anything came out good out of this COVID, one of the things is this collaboration. So.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment in Canary Green, I'm so thankful and grateful that we've got so many people donating their time and their energy for free. And but this is not sustainable. We need, if we want to be realistic, I'm not holding my hand out asking for money. I think this needs to be treated like a business. This is our future, all of us, and this is not about Canary Green. What we just a vehicle to communicate. Yeah. So
I think it's a benefit that it's not a must, but it's sort of came natural for us to work because we have passion for that. But like you said, everybody wants to get earn a living or make a living through the passion that they have, and there's nothing wrong with that.
And that's what we're chasing now. We just had our first. We've launched a program called the High Five. Club, and we just got our first. Paul Rowan from Los Gigantes Properties has committed to paying us 5,000 euros over 1,000 euros each year for 5 years, and so we're hoping that's going to be like a domino effect to get people supporting us.
So on that note, let's just say if anybody who's watching it would like to support Canary Green's mission, what is there to be done? How can they do it?
If you go to our website, we've got a link at the top to support us, and you can either support us via volunteering, or you can support us financially, and there's a link to pay some money as a one-off or on a monthly, or if you want to join this High Five Club, which is over the next 5 years, you commit to paying €1,000 each year.
Perfect. Great, guys. If you wanna add to a sustainable Tenerife, sustainable Canary Islands, that's the way to do it. We're here to do that. That's our mission. Thanks again, John, for the conversation.
Thank you.
And we see you in the next one.